There's something about the way the sun hits the chrome of an old car on a summer afternoon, like time slows down just a little. Remember when cars had personality? When turning the key didn't just start an engine, but kicked off an adventure. Back when the family station wagon was packed with suitcases, kids, and a cooler full of soda for a road trip with no GPS, no screens, just the open road and a crinkled map on your lap. Those cars weren't just machines, they were characters. And they came with quirks and features that today's drivers might not even recognize. Features that made driving feel special, even magical. Today, we're looking at 10 retro car features you'll never see again. Little pieces of automotive history that remind us of a simpler, more hands-on time. So buckle up, the kind with the metal tongue and the silver buckle, not the automatic kind. And let's take a ride down memory lane. Bench seats, where everyone sat together. Back in the 1950s and 60s, if you wanted legroom, you got a bench seat, not two bucket seats with a console in the middle. No, this was one long, wide seat that stretched from door to door. And in the back, same thing. Families would pile in. 3 kids in the front, all sharing that big, flat seat. No seat belts, no airbags, just a little trust and a firm hand from mom when dad took a sharp turn. It wasn't just about space. It was about closeness. You leaned on your brother, shared the armrest with your sister, and maybe even passed a soda across the seat while dad drove with one hand on the wheel, the other out the window. These seats were often covered in vinyl that stuck to your legs in the summer, or plush cloth that smelled like old fries and dog fur. But they were yours. As safety rules changed and center consoles became popular, bench seats faded away. Today, you'd be lucky to find one outside a classic car show. But for a generation, that wide front seat was where memories were made, squished together, singing along to the radio, watching the world roll by. Glove compartment locks for important secrets. Ever seen a little keyhole on the glove box? That wasn't just for show. Back when cars were like mobile living rooms, the glove compartment was a vault. Mom kept her sunglasses in there. Dad stored the registration, and maybe a pack of gum. And sometimes, just sometimes, a pack of cigarettes or a love letter from before the wedding. The lock made it feel official, like this little cubby was private. You didn't just open it willy-nilly. You needed permission or a spare key from the junk drawer at home. It wasn't high-tech security. A paperclip could probably pick it, but the idea mattered. It gave the car a sense of mystery, like there was something worth protecting inside. By the 1980s, the locks started disappearing. Insurance companies didn't want owners fumbling with keys during emergencies. And honestly, most of us just used it for napkins and old parking stubs. Now, glove boxes open freely. Convenient, sure, but missing that little thrill of the forbidden. Cigarette lighters that actually lit cigarettes. Before no smoking signs and health warnings, every car had a little silver socket with a coil inside. You'd push it in, hear a soft click, and wait about 30 seconds. Then pop, the lighter would spring up, glowing red hot, ready to light a cigarette. Dad used it on long drives. Mom might borrow it during a break at a rest stop. Even teens would sneak a puff, hiding behind the garage. It wasn't just for smoking, though. On cold mornings, you could warm your hands on the coil, or use it to fix a loose shoelace by melting the end. Eventually, laws changed. Smoking in cars with kids became frowned upon, then illegal in some places. Automakers phased out real lighters, replacing them with 12-volt ports for phone chargers. Now, that little socket charges our GPS or dash cam, but it used to spark something more, literally and figuratively. Trunk-mounted spare tires, the honest-to-goodness full-size spare. Open the trunk of a 1970s sedan, and there it was, a full-size tire, snug and well, covered with a little carpet mat. Not a tiny donut. Not a sealant kit. A real tire, just like the ones on the ground. If you got a flat, you pulled out the jack, loosened the lug nuts, and changed the tire like a grown-up. It took time, effort, and maybe a scraped knuckle or two. But when you were done, you had a real tire, one that could go hundreds of miles, not just 50. This spare wasn't an afterthought. It was part of the car's soul, a promise that you could handle trouble on your own. But as cars got smaller and fuel efficiency mattered more, manufacturers started shrinking the spare, first to a temporary space saver, then to nothing at all. Today, many new cars don't have spares, just a can of goo to plug the hole and get you to a shop. We've traded self-reliance for convenience. And somewhere, a roadside mechanic from 1972 is shaking his head. Manual choke, the morning ritual. On cold winter mornings, starting the car wasn't as simple as turning a key. You had to help it wake up. That's where the manual choke came in, a little knob under the dash, usually near the heater controls. You'd pull it out before starting, let the engine sputter to life, then slowly push it back in as it warmed up. If you rushed it, the car would stall. If you waited too long, it'd run rough. It was a dance, driver and machine working together. You learned to listen to the engine, to feel when it was ready. It made you part of the process, not just a passenger. Fuel injection made chokes obsolete by the 1980s. Now, cars start instantly, no matter the weather. But we lost something too, that quiet moment of connection, of coaxing a cold engine to life with a little patience and a steady hand. Push-button transmissions, futuristic and fun. Imagine shifting gears without a stick. No clutch, no gear lever, just a row of shiny chrome buttons on the dashboard. Chrysler called it torque flight. Other brands had their own versions. You'd press drive, reverse, or low, like you were piloting a spaceship. It felt modern, sleek, like the future had arrived in your family sedan. Kids loved it. Pressing buttons was more fun than moving a lever, and it freed up the center floor for, well, more kids. But buttons could be confusing. Press the wrong one, and you might lurch backward when you meant to go forward. By the 1970s, the gear shifter made a comeback, safer, more intuitive. Push-button transmissions became a quirky footnote in car history. Now, they're a nostalgic treasure, a reminder that once, driving felt like pressing play on tomorrow. Wing windows, the original crack a window. Before power windows and climate control, cars had vent windows, little triangle-shaped windows on the front doors that you could swing outward. You didn't need electricity, just a small handle you'd twist, and fresh air would swirl into the car. On a summer night, with the radio playing softly and the road humming beneath you, cracking those wing windows just right made the perfect breeze. They were especially popular in the 1940s and 50s, sleek, stylish, and practical. Some even had tiny shades to block the sun. But as air conditioning became standard, the need for vent windows faded. They also leaked in the rain and added wind noise. Today, they're gone, replaced by silent, sealed cabins. But if you ever sat in a car with wing windows open, you know the feeling. The wind in your hair, the smell of cut grass, and the quiet joy of a simple breeze. Column shifters, where Grandpa drove. Before the gear shifter lived between the seats, it lived on the steering column, a tall lever you'd move with your right hand. It was a standard in most cars from the 1930s to the 1970s. Even minivans and sedans had them. Why? Because it saved space. No floor hump, more room for passengers, and for kids to pass a bag of chips across the seat. It felt natural, too. Your left hand on the wheel, right hand on the column, like driving was a conversation between you and the road. And let's be honest, it looked cool, especially when Grandpa smoothly shifted from low to drive without even looking. As bucket seats and sporty designs took over, the column shifter moved out. Today, it's mostly seen in trucks or retro-style cars. But for a generation, that tall lever was a heartbeat of the car. Radios with physical station seek dials. Turn the dial, and you'd hear the static shift, a slow sweep through the airwaves until bam, music jumped out, clear and warm. No touchscreen, no presets, just you, the dial, and a little luck finding a station. You'd twist it slowly, listening for a familiar voice or a favorite song. Sometimes you'd catch a distant station from another state on a clear night. The dial had weight to it, resistance. It made tuning feel intentional. And when you found a good song, you stayed on it. No skipping, no shuffle. You listened, really listened. Digital tuning and satellite radio changed all that. Now, we tap a button and land exactly where we want. But we lost the hunt. The joy of discovery, the surprise of forgotten tune floating in from somewhere far away. Hubcaps that stayed on mostly. Hubcaps weren't just decoration. They were a point of pride. A shiny hubcap meant your car was cared for. A missing one, that was a family embarrassment. Kids would walk behind the car after a drive, checking, did we lose any? Sometimes one would fly off in a pothole, clattering down the road like a runaway coin. But when they stayed on, they gleamed in the sun, little silver stars on each wheel. Some hubcaps had the brand name Chevrolet, Ford, Dodge, spelled out in chrome. Others were simple domes, catching the light as the wheels turned. As alloy wheels became popular in the 1980s, hubcaps became less common. Now, most wheels are bare metal or plastic, functional, but not quite as charming. Today, a lone hubcap on the side of the road is a ghost of a bygone era, a small, spinning memory of how cars used to shine. These features may be gone, but they're not forgotten. They were part of the rhythm of life. The click of a seatbelt, the glow of a cigarette lighter, the hum of a radio finding its voice. They remind us that cars weren't just about getting from here to there. They were about who we were when we got there. What's your favorite memory from the back seat of an old car? Was it the smell of vinyl in the summer? The sound of a station wagon's tailgate slamming shut? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your stories. If you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you never miss another journey into the past. Until next time, keep the engine running and the memories alive.